So it's like 92 degrees in the middle of the night. Aside from not being able to sleep for that reason, Lister is also thirsty and he has to go to the bathroom.
Something which has confronted all men since the beginning of time. To pee or not to pee, that is the question.
Meanwhile, Kochanski is being driven insane from hearing noises in the pipes.
No, that's wrong. You've gone out of sequence. If you're going to keep me up all night, just do it right, okay?
Kill two birds with one shower.
I could have gone the rest of my life without knowing that Lister pees in the shower. Though refrigerating the pillow is kind of smart.
Women would never have fridges like this. Chill trainers, it just wouldn't happen.
So I guess this is a thing people do to kill the smell of shoes. Apparently putting them in the freezer kills the bacteria. I had to look this up because I'd literally never heard of it before this show. Also, apparently you're supposed to put them in a bag first.
I need a bath. I need sleep. I need clothes. I need cottage cheese with pineapple chunks in.
Anyway, Kochanski is about to crack.
I lost my crew, my ship, and I ended up here with a fridge full of trainers, 2 sets of clothes and pipes that squealuka when they shouldn't be.
As awful as she can be at times, I kind of feel bad for her right now.
How did I end up like this? On a ship where the 4th most popular pastime is going down to the laundry room and watching my knickers spin dry.
Yeah, this is just sad.
I'm not here because I'm a sad and lonely person who's entertained by women's underwear spin drying.
My God, a G-string. Where?
And to top it off, all of her clothes have shrunk in the dryer. Well, she found some peaches. That's a step in the right direction.
We'll fix those pipes.
If you could just make them go Narik every time without any squealucles, I'd be so grateful.
But yeah, she's just broken now.
Come on, come with me. I've got something to show you.
I can't imagine that a hot bath would be that great when it's over 90 degrees in the room, but Kochanski seems pleased with it.
I'm saving it for your birthday. There's some makeup in there, too.
He also got her some girly things. That's so nice. Go, Lister.
Chris is sleeping in my quarters tonight, Crichton.
In your quarters, sir?
Yeah, she's gonna have a nice hot bath.
So now Crichton assumes that Lister and Kochanski are an item, and he has a total meltdown as he imagines what he thinks the future will be.
You know what it's like, man. It's the 4th law of the universe. You settle down with a woman, and the first thing they do is systematically set about getting rid of all your mates.
And you say we're all a bit embarrassed of you because you've got a funny-shaped head.
You're not human, are you? You're a robot.
Yeah.
Because this is how Lister acts.
If you need anyone to scrub your back or anything, don't hesitate to call. I can be here in 20 seconds.
I won't.
But as it so happens, the power goes out before she can take a bath anyway.
The generator's down, sir. I was just adjusting the thermo settings and it overloaded. Give it a few seconds and the emergency backup will kick in. I'll look into it immediately, sir.
So now all the doors are locked. Apparently that happens in an emergency to keep fires from spreading. Seems like that also keep people from escaping a fire, but whatever. And with the power out, the autopilot isn't even running.
You mean this ship's careening out of control through space with absolutely zero expertise at the helm?
No change there, then.
How dare you? Kat's an awesome pilot. Anyway, they need to start up the backup generator, but the only way to do it is through the service ducts.
2 miles of ventways that wind their way through the ship like intestines.
And it's gonna take 6 hours. So they go into the duct through a vent above Lister's shower.
I don't feel so good.
And it turns out that Lister is claustrophobic, so this is gonna be a fun romp.
Didn't you guys know?
Anyway, Lister and Kochanski split up from Kat and Crichton.
You just need something to take your mind off it.
So Kochanski tries to get his mind off of it by talking about the differences between Lister and her Lister.
You weren't going out with him?
It wasn't my type.
But he was well-dressed, neat, sophisticated, sensitive. Why wasn't he your type?
He was gay.
I'm gay in an alternative dimension.
Yes.
Me?
Now Lister has a complex about it.
No, what am I thinking of? I am not gay.
Like a red dwarf before the accident, I had loads of gay friends.
Yeah, so did I.
This leads to Kochanski claiming that Lister didn't have any gay friends, and he claims that he did.
What about Bent Bob?
Bent Bob.
It was his nickname. It was affectionate. And we obviously only ever used it behind his back.
Also, she mentions that in her reality, Todd Hunter was also gay.
Used to fool around, slept with women.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it does.
So it turns out that she made all that up just to distract him. Go Kochanski.
So you're Dave. Is he? Yeah, smeg.
So Crichton and Kat return saying that they found the way to a supply room.
We can't get through to unscrew the fastening bolts, but Mom.
By the way, Crichton's accent always makes it sound like he's calling Kochanski Mom.
It's nearly 1 a.m., Mom. What are you doing up?
Which is ironic, because clearly he's the mom. Anyway, they need her to help unscrew something because she has smaller hands, so she and Kat switch places.
Leave it to me. Boy, is it cramped. Ooh-wee.
And of course, he immediately starts in with saying inappropriate things.
So how comes you didn't get it when we was in that tunnel when all the walls and
I don't always get it, okay? Just sometimes.
I like that they threw in a quick explanation about why we didn't know about this before now. So Kat asks why he's claustrophobic, so he tells a story about how he got involved with this girl when he was a teenager, and it turned out that she already had a boyfriend.
She leapt up into the summit of the door, so I jumped into this wooden packing crate. It was him. He sealed me up in the box and said he was going to drop me in the canal. Drove me out there. In the end, he relented. I stepped out, bollock naked, right in the middle of the Bootle Players amateur production of The Importance of Being Earnest.
Yeah, that's definitely a traumatic experience. Meanwhile, Crichton is wondering why he didn't know about Lister's claustrophobia, since he tells him so many other things, like the thing Lister told him about Kachansky.
You mean he told you about the rusty gate?
Oh, the rusty gate. That was one of the first things he told us.
He told you that I make it sound like a rusty gate when I'm making love?
No, he told us his grandma once had a rusty gate, and he helped fix it.
Figures.
Just shut up, okay? I never said that.
Just cross-filing that story under B for blackmail and A for anecdote.
So Kachansky tries to tell Crichton that she's no longer interested in Lister, but he's not buying it.
What about the way you look at him?
What way?
Like he's a pot of cottage cheese with pineapple chunks in.
How can you say that? Maybe once or twice plain cottage cheese, but never ever with pineapple chunks in.
Amazing dialogue in this episode.
Have I?
Back to the other two.
What's that?
Kat hears something.
It's like water roaring down, say, a passageway.
And Lister remembers something.
Every 4 hours, the ductways get backwashed.
Anyway, they manage to avoid it.
I hate this. I really hate this.
But now Kat hears another sound.
Is it a sort of cat being smacked on the head by a smacked off Lister's fist kind of noise?
It's a sort of swirly, windy, and hurricane kind of noise.
The dryer! The vents get dried after the backwash.
So they hang on for dear life, but to no avail.
I am not having a good day!
Boy, do I know that feeling.
This should help, sir. Take away the rising panic. Well done, Mom.
So now they've regrouped and the conversation turns to the subject of cannibalism.
Good, because there's no way I could ever eat a person.
No way I could ever cook one either. Not without my slow cooker.
Did they forget to reactivate Crichton's behavior protocols? That would actually explain a lot of his actions in Season 7.
I hate the dark.
Lister ends up talking about some rough times in the orphanage.
The dorm was always pitch black. The tight sods didn't allow so much as night light, just to save electricity.
Kachansky, on the other hand, went to cyber school, which involved an AR program.
And suddenly, there we'd be, in a perfect replica of a girls' boarding school. For history, they brought in Disraeli and Genghis Khan. For literature, they let us talk to Shakespeare and Dickens.
Anyway, coming out of it was a rough transition.
Was in the real life for the first time. No protectors. I went insane.
Really?
Yeah, I was a retro punk.
They always say the hardest part about leaving cyberspace is realizing the whole universe does not revolve around you.
That explains a lot, actually.
Sure doesn't. It revolves around me.
Also, that's one of my favorite Cat lines.
Boy, is this place hot.
Anyway, soon after, they realize it's getting hotter despite the generators having been turned back on, so they should be cooling the ship back down. And the reason for that is because they're heading towards a sun.
And it's all my fault!
And it turns out that while Crichton didn't intend for this to happen, he did intentionally override the generators.
Crichton, man, what made you do it?
I didn't want you to have a bath, Mom.
So Crichton basically brings up what happened in his daydream, with Lister basically leaving him for Kachansky.
I'd have been on my own again.
Crichton!
I was just so scared.
Oh god, not this again. So Lister knows of a way to get to their destination a lot faster, and it basically involves using the water to propel them to where they need to go. Pretty unpleasant, but it got them there.
Thank God we made it.
But they messed up and end up back in Lister's bathroom again where they started.
How?
Boy, Crichton's batting 1,000 today. But it turns out that they're okay after all.
I excluded the doors from the shutdown override in case anything happened.
You put me through that nightmare when we could just walk out that door at any moment.
I thought I was joking about the behavior protocols thing, but I'm starting to think that's a valid theory. But Kachansky seems surprisingly okay.
For you, the trek through the ducts was far from pointless. It was an emotional journey where you gleaned invaluable insights into your crewmates. This was your rites of passage. Am I right?
Say Nurik.
Nurik.
So, Crichton really had nothing better to do than to make noises just to keep Kachansky awake? Hit him harder, Jesus Christ. And so ends Duct Soup. This is one of those episodes that's really simple but great, just because of all the character development. It's basically Marooned with a mostly different cast, and that's fine. The funny thing is, I think Crichton was basically right. This did help Kachansky bond with the rest of the crew, and she got to show a more vulnerable side. She's the kind of character that tends to perpetually have a stick up their ass, so we occasionally need to be reminded of their humanity so we don't hate them. That's why Rimmer episodes are so great. We also got to learn more about Lister's past and how it contrasts with Kachansky's. On the other hand, I could kind of do without Crichton. He's just kind of hard for me to stomach when Kachansky is involved. On the upside, while there isn't any character development for Cat naturally, he does have some great lines, which I'll get more into in the Cat videos. Basically, nearly everyone is great in this. There isn't much more to be said about this one. I like it a lot, and I think it's one of the better Season 7 episodes. But there's only so much you can say about a Locked in the Freezer episode, though ironically the threat is heat instead of cold. Next up is Blue. See you then.
It's true. Isn't true. It is. It isn't. It isn't. It is. Isn't. It is. Isn't. It is. Sirs, what are you arguing about? About me being really mature.